Okie dokie. So this thing needs a few bits and pieces to be registered in Australia. Being an 85 model, it's got to comply with the things that the 85 model here had. So it needs the retractable belts, ADR approved belts, which I've put in there now. It needs a PCV valve, which it may have. I haven't. It's a bit of an odd place on this one. And it needs a charcoal canister, which is this little guy here. So Chris at the Datsun part shop up in Queensland found this for me, and the bracket, which this bolts to the passenger side strut tower, just to the front of that. And this goes in there, and so we've got to stick that in. We're missing there's a little clip that goes around here and holds it in, but we can make something up for that, I think. We'll do the job. They're good guys up at the Datsun part shop. They've also got some other bits and pieces too, which I had a look at their website and grabbed as well. Bumper bar bolts. This came with no bolts on the ends and was missing one of the brackets, which I made, just bent up a bit of flat bar. But that's the right bolt to go into it. So they've got them. And while I was at it, I thought, we'll get the little seals that go under the bonnet, with on the bonnet, I don't know, what would you call it, hinge, arm? Yeah, so it's got a little flat plate that comes down and seals up against the air intake for the cabin, so you don't get any nasty fumes going into the cabin. So yeah, good on your Datsun part shop. So we'll stick those on. This is the one we've got to get in. We've got to get that one in. There's a couple other things. I'll show you where this all goes in a tick on the car itself. Okay. So this guy is supposed to mount here somewhere. So somewhere like that, I presume. So we'll have to drill a couple of holes. I don't like drilling holes in cars, but that's where it's supposed to go. It just sits in there. Should do the job. Now, the PCV valve. On the Australian one, I'll get around the other side of the camera. It comes out a little pipe under here and goes around through there, which is this one here. But there doesn't seem to be anything in it. The Australian one has one in here somewhere, so there's nothing in this hose whatsoever. It's completely hollow. And there's nothing in that. So I'm not quite sure what that does. Anyway, shouldn't be a drama. Alrighty, here's where we are. So I've done a little bit while you haven't been looking. You should have been watching, but you weren't. I've drilled in here. My bracket's all mounted up. I've made a nice little holder here out of welding wire, which is the best stuff in the world. So now we've got this gadget here, and we've got three. We've got this one's from the fuel tank. That one's the purge, so that one's got to go to the air filter or the intake. And then that one there is a little diaphragm that works on vacuum, which switches it on and off. So that's got to go to vacuum. So here's what we've done. Well, this one goes in here, which is a little bit of a bitch to put in because I made it really tight. Okay, so previously, this hose came out of here, which is to the fuel tank, came out of here and went into there. So now we've got to go, this one goes from the fuel tank, as you can see there, and to the fuel tank connection on here, like that. Like that. Let's put a little gizmo on here. Keep it all authentic looking. Right, so from there, the purge now goes to the air filter, which we've already cut a bit of hose to do that, and that's this one here, and that goes on there like that. And lastly, what we've done here is, not that one, this one here, which is the, where's my pointer? That's the vacuum advance, which runs through. So we've teed into that, which you can see there, and then run this hose over here, and that's what switches it on and off. So that one goes in there, like that. Okay, so now it's just all got to go back together again, and we should be apples. And I'll show you something else that I found in the meantime too, in a minute. Look at this, cold air intake. Man, such a sports car. Okay, I'll put it all back together, and then I'll have a talk to you about something else I found. This is what I found under here. Right, the filler is just here. Okay, so there's my filler. My question is, what's that? I'll give you a closer look. I have my suspicions. It could be a charcoal canister. I mean, they said I needed a PCV valve, and then a couple of the guys in the Datsun club pointed out that it's actually got one in the block. So we found that. So what's that? When we got a little sunny, it didn't have these bolts here on the side, and it didn't have a bracket on this side too. I've made one up for some flat bar, which is pretty much the same as the other side. The other side is was on the car, didn't have the bolts. This originally had plastic bizzos over the side, but we don't want plastic bizzos over the side. We want chrome bumpers, because that's a lot cooler. Anyway, so I made up a little bracket, put some bolts in, just put some dome nuts in because I didn't know what else to get. And then I found the Datsun part shop up in Queensland, who sent me these little babies, which are the correct bolt for the job. So that's today's job. The little 6mm, whack a nut onto it on the other side. Yeah, so I think I might put it into that one as well, because that's just a hole there that was, the plastic cover was sort of clipped into there. Trouble is that's got a square and that's round, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, get stuck into this. To do this, you'll need a 10mm. It's actually not going to do the job. Haha, I came prepared. Alrighty, all done. Looks really professional. So which leaves me with 2 left over, because I didn't, like, we're only supposed to do 1 there, 2 there, 2 there and 1 there, so you get 6. These have already got them in there. They're not supposed to go in there, but they're going in there anyway. Leaves me with 2. So what I'm thinking is number plate screws when I get those. Perfect. Okay, so we had the compliance engineer out yesterday, and the truck mostly flew through everything because it's bog standard, with a couple of small issues. Now, the first one is those mirrors. So how it works is you're not allowed to have your mirror so it's viewed through part of an unswept windscreen. So it's fine if you're looking through an unswept side window, but you can't look through an unswept part of the windscreen. I looked at the engineer and he went, so that's the rules. So we've got to come up with a side mirror on it. We've got that one nailed. Not going to drill any holes in it. We're going with one that goes, the hot rod one that clamps onto here. That was the first issue. The second issue is a little bit more dramatic. So, and it's in here. So here's where the problem is. Right there. That's a non-collapsing steering column. So we're going to have to get one out of an Australian one that has the collapsible section in there and won't spear you through the chest when you have a crash. So the venerable Sunny truck was made for 37 years. They started in 1971. They were made until 1992 in Japan, and they soldiered on in South Africa as a bakkie until 2008. So, as far as I can ascertain, these things, the Sunny truck, as opposed to the coupe and the wagon and all the other variants, they started making them in 1971 in Japan and didn't change a goddamn thing until they stopped. That's why it's still got a carby and drum brakes and a non-collapsible steering column, which will spear you through the chest if you have a front-on crash. I suppose seen as a commercial vehicle, I mean, they're a pretty tough little thing. But still, geez. Anyway, in the next episode, we're going to source a steering column and stick that in, and our mirror and stick that in. And in defiance, well, in defiance of everybody, I'm going to put some different mirrors on. This one's cracked anyway. I've got some of those in. Yeah, but apparently I can keep those as long as I have a door mirror. Until next time.